Hey, sweet friends. All right, so tonight we are going to do one of our quick and easy, inexpensive meals. This is another one of those meals that I call a $10 meal. It's very versatile. You can change it up. You can use ingredients that you have. I had a sweet friend on here that reached out to me and said that she had some ground beef and needed something really quick and easy to toss together. So I thought I would go ahead and make this myself also. So really this dish reminds me of like a goulash, but a baked style goulash. Okay, we're going to turn it into a little casserole. We're going to do some ground beef. We're going to throw some peppers and onions in there, some pasta, and you can just kind of change this up and make it your own. Okay, so in here I am just seasoning this up like I always do with all of my same stuff: garlic powder, onion powder, smoked paprika, some of my nature seasoning. I did a little bit of Creole, and so we're just going to cook this down for just a second, y'all. And I've got some peppers and onions out here that we're going to toss in. Like I said, you kind of make this dish your own. You use whatever you have on hand. It is delicious, and I'll be back in just a second. All right, y'all. So our ground beef has pretty much cooked all the way down. I tossed a paper towel in there. There was not that much grease. So as you can see, we've got most of that out. And then now I'm going to toss in peppers and onions. Both of these are optional. Okay. And to that, I'm going to add in some of our minced garlic. Let's see here. Just a little, however much or little you want. Okay. Let those cook together really good. And I'm going to add in some of our W sauce and some soy sauce. Now, I left my peppers and stuff in bigger pieces because I kind of like this to be a little bit chunky, but you can cut them smaller if you want to. I ended up with 2 containers or bottles of W sauce open, and so I got them both out. We're fixing to fix that problem. I don't know how much I have in here, but let's see. Let's move that a tablespoon right there. So let's see. I don't know. Add you a couple tablespoons in, alright? It's hard to measure this. So I did that, and I'm going to do a little bit more. Just a couple tablespoons. Alright, and then I've got some soy sauce. And this is the low sodium. I try to get that if I can. And for this, we're going to do the same. Maybe about 2. Okay, this comes out a little better where we can measure a little better. So 1 tablespoon. 2 tablespoons. Okay. Just for some little added flavor. Okay. I'm just going to let that cook for a second, y'all. And then whenever I come back, we're going to add some tomato stuff in there. Like I said, now this is very versatile. I still had... Y'all know the other night whenever I made that, what was it? The chicken and wild rice soup, I only used 1 tablespoon out of that tomato paste that I had. Well, I popped the rest in the fridge. I hadn't put it in the freezer yet. I just put it in the fridge because I thought, well, I may use that in the next day or 2. So I'm going to use that. Typically, I probably would not use the tomato paste for this. However, it works totally fine if you want to. So I'm going to use that, and I've got a can of stewed tomatoes I'm going to use. And like I said, this is a lot like a goulash, except for we're going to turn it into a casserole. Okay? And I thought, it is October and I've not even worn my pumpkin shirt yet. So I've got that on, and I bought a new pumpkin shirt this year, and I got Bella one, so we have matching little pumpkin shirts that we've got to get out and get on. But I feel like because the weather has been so warm, it just hasn't felt like the season yet. And I've only put a little t-shirt on her maybe a time or two this fall because it just really hasn't been cool enough yet. But anyway, just the highlights of your life. You only have so many days to wear your little fall attire or pumpkin shirt, so you got to get it out and take advantage of it, right? Anyway, y'all, I'll be back in a second. Okay, y'all, so I forgot one of my most important seasons that I like to add to my little dishes like this is some of my Italian season. Y'all know I like to use the packet. Now you can use the kind in the container if you want to, but I like to use this, and I'm going to use probably about half of this pack. Let's see. Yeah, that's probably about half. We're going to start with that. And remember, this has a little bit of sugar in it, but I think we may still need to add a little bit of sugar. I don't know. We just kind of have to taste it and go from there. And then here's the rest of that tomato paste. So the tomato paste that I had, was a 6-ounce container, and I only used about a tablespoon. So I would say this is a good 5 ounces out of that 6-ounce container. Okay, so you might as well go ahead and say about a whole thing. All right. And remember, you use whatever tomato base stuff that you have. This recipe is not picky at all. Okay, we'll mix that around in there. With that good Italian season. Okay, and then I have a can of sliced stewed tomatoes, which I'm going to have to chop these up because, of course, you don't want tomatoes and that big of pieces. You could use diced tomatoes, of course. Well, that's got stuff on it. So I'm just going to take my little meat chopper here. Y'all, I use this for everything except for chopping my ground beef. Y'all ever notice that? It comes in handy for so many other different things. Okay? So I'm not going to keep y'all. I'm just going to be chopping these up. And another thing that I'm going to add to our little mixture here and let it slow cook is about 1 cup of pasta water. This is 2 cups, but I'm only going to add 1 cup in. Let's see. Because I've already cooked my pasta. Y'all know I love to cook it in this pan before I ever even start my ground beef. And it works out perfect. So 1 cup of that, and all I did to my pasta water was I added in a little bit of butter and about a teaspoon of beef bouillon, okay, just to give it a little bit of flavor, so not that much. All right, so I'm just going to let this cook down. I think I'm going to toss in a little piece of bay leaf. I don't have much here. I keep forgetting to get these. Y'all know that. I keep saying it every time, but I have a little piece here that I'm going to toss in, and I'm just going to let this slowly simmer. I'm going to give it a little taste and see if we need to add any sugar or salt. Oh yeah, we didn't add any black pepper. Let me add some of that in real quick. So some black pepper for sure. Okay, all right, y'all, I'll be back in a second. Alright, y'all, just real quick, I gave it a little taste, and it tastes really good, but I am going to add in a little bit more sugar. Not much. I'm talking about maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon, 1/2 a teaspoon at the most, okay? And a smidge more of our smoked paprika, just a little. And this is optional, of course. I just like that flavor of it. And then I'm going to do some of our parsley, okay? And I've about run out of my fresh parsley, so we're back to the little container tonight. That's about 1/2 a tablespoon. I'm going to pop that in there, okay? Now I'm just going to pop a lid on this, let all those flavors get to know each other, and I'll be back and we'll toss our pasta in, get this mixed up, and get it in the oven. Okay, y'all. So I have had our sauce mixture here just slow cooking for about 15 minutes now. Let's see if we can find that bay leaf. we're going to fish that out, toss our pasta in, and we're going to throw this in the oven and it will be ready to go. Well, where is it? I just seen it a second ago. I should have grabbed it then. Well, we'll find it in a minute. Alright, so here's our pasta. I am using some egg noodles. Let me show you. So I grabbed these at the dollar store, and I wasn't sure about them because, now don't get me wrong, I love a cheap brand. Y'all know that. However, sometimes the cheap brands are not always good, especially when it comes to pasta, and I'm kind of picky about my pasta. But these were the dollar store brand, and they cooked up really, really good. They like, the texture is really good. I've already tasted one. They're perfectly fine. So this is a 12-ounce bag, and I'd say I used about 10 ounces just because I didn't want to make a huge batch. So I still have this little bit left, and yes, I will use these. I will toss these into something, don't worry. And they're really good. So I just wanted to let you know that, just in case, if you're like me and you're kind of hesitant sometimes about new things or different brands. They're perfect. They taste just like the other ones. And so I just cooked these up. Of course, you don't want to cook them completely done. You want to cook them about 3/4 of the way and allow them a little bit of time in the oven to finish cooking, okay? And so I always cool them off. I drizzled a little bit of, let me fix this, goodness gracious. I drizzled them with a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of that nature's seasoning. Oh, there's the bay leaf. A lot of times I may do a little bit of garlic salt, just anything. Y'all know, it doesn't matter. Just, you don't even have to season them at all. That's just what I choose to do sometimes. Alright, let's see. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pour in a little bit more of our pasta water. We want it to be a little bit thinner than that. Yes, that looks perfect. Now this isn't my 9x13 dish. This is my smaller one. I think this may be what, 11x7. What does it say? 11x8. Yeah. So I'm hoping that will be big enough. But look at that, y'all. Don't that look so good? So quick, so easy. Like I said, it's basically like a goulash, just kind of changing it up just a little bit. I'm going to do just a little bit more because I know it's going to cook down once we get it in there. That's why I always like to have this reserved. It's perfect to thin out your stuff. But I think that looks great, don't y'all? Alright, let me back you up just a little bit. We're going to get it in our pan here. I sprayed the pan just a little bit. And let's hope it fits. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Good. We're just perfect. Perfect fit. Okay. You can't get no quicker and easier and inexpensive than this. And this will be so good. That racket that always makes when I set it down here. Aggravating. Okay. So there it is in our dish here. Now we're going to put some cheese on it. I got out my parm. I think I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of this on top. This is optional. I think I'm going to do a little bit of that. Okay. And then I had this bagged cheese that I had grabbed the other day, and I hadn't opened it yet. So I thought that's perfect. I didn't shred any up. I thought we're going easy. There's our oven. It's ready to go. I've got it on 350. I can't remember if I told y'all, but 350. And we're just going to pop this in there and only cook this for about 20 minutes. Not long at all, just long enough to melt that cheese and let everything get nice and hot and bubbly. Okay. Of course, y'all know I got to put a little something on top. Let's see what I do with my parsley. Here it is. A little bit of parsley for a little bit of color. Alright, y'all. I'm going to pop this in there. 350, 20, 25 minutes or so. And I'm going to clean up around here, and I'll let you know exactly how long I cooked it whenever I come back. Hey, y'all. Okay, it's been 20 minutes. I'm getting our little casserole out of the oven. Oh, man. Look at this, y'all. Don't that look so good? All right, y'all. I'm going to let this cool for just a second. And then I'll come back and we'll plate it up. But you see here what I'm talking about? Just cook it to where it starts getting nice and bubbly around the edges like this right here. So like I did exactly 20 minutes on 350. I'll be back. Let's get some out real quick, y'all, so it can be cooling off. Look at this. Yum, yum, yum. Y'all know I love stuff like this. Let's see here. That looks so good. Y'all hear Belle down here? She's eating her a treat. She just got her a little treat a second ago, so she's down here eating on that. Look at this. All right, y'all. I'm just gonna let this cool for a second. All right, y'all. Let's give this a taste test. I want y'all to look here, though. I can't even sneak a bite off camera because if y'all are like me, you know, whenever it's like this, you want to try to kind of pick those little noodles like this off the top and eat it. Well, that's what I was trying to do, and I picked it up and dropped it all over my shirt. I said, I can't even sneak around here. Anyway, let's do a taste test. It's so good, I couldn't hardly wait. I love it whenever that cheese is cooked to the pasta like that. Y'all know it's my favorite. Well, I don't need that much. Try to break it off a little bit. Well, we might just have to go with it. I done made a big mess anyway. Look at this bite, y'all. If you ever... Y'all, it's so good. It's like a combination between like a goulash, maybe kind of reminds you of a spaghetti, like a baked spaghetti maybe, but you've got those egg noodles, which is different. It's just really, this is just such a good little dish. Very, very inexpensive. You can make it your own using whatever you have in your cabinet. Whatever, like I said, whatever tomato stuff you have. Diced, crushed, tomato paste, tomato sauce. Whatever you like. That, some seasonings, your pasta, your ground beef. And you've got your little dish here. Your cheese. It's always a kid favorite, you know, with little stuff like this. You can pair it together with some green beans, some green peas, a salad, or if you're an adult and you don't have nobody else to worry about but yourself, you can just eat it like this by yourself and just eat up all those carbs, you know. So good, y'all. Y'all try this. You'll love it. This is one of my favorite little $10 meals. Y'all know we've made several on here, but this is definitely a favorite. It's good every time. Just using whatever I have, and I can't get that noodle to do right. Just using whatever I have on hand. Whatever pasta I've got in the cabinet, whatever tomatoes I've got, make it work. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get off here. Enjoy this. I've got a few more dishes I need to wash up. I should have been doing that while I was letting this cook, but I didn't. Me and Belle, we've been playing. But anyway, I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.